Hi, I'm Terri Conrad with Bloom True, and today I'm working with some Grafix art supplies. I'm so excited to be exploring these products and see how I can bring them into my mixed media art journaling. What I have in store for today is a gorgeous, neutral, vintage feeling art journal. So I'm glad you're here, and let's explore these products together. So what I'm working with today is this mixed media journal, and it comes in this package and has, that's a cover sheet that we're going to use. We'll get to that in a second. It has a front and a back chipboard cover, and everything is pre-punched, which is really cool. And I have here, because I'm going to add some additional pages, I have this hole punch that creates the same little punches for the journal. And we'll have a link to that in the notes. But what we've got here is the front and back cover. We've got clear Duralar, and there's 2 pages of each. We've got matte Duralar, which is this kind of opaque, gosh, it's almost like a vellum, but a little bit heavier. Really excited to play with that. We have a wet media Duralar, and I might use some Stabilo pencils on that. And then we've got black. This is going to be so fun to work with. So we're going to create a journal. I have pre-cut some watercolor sheets of paper in 6x6 to fit in the journal. And as a bonus at the end, I'm going to walk you through creating a collage on one of your pages. Then what I've got, let me set this aside. See, I've got those holes punched already. We're going to collage that onto the cover when we get started. I've got stencil film, and oh my gosh, I cannot wait to create with this. We can create masks, and we can create stencils, and then I've got some, whoops, I just dropped something. We've got some printable Duralar paper, and I've gone ahead and pre-printed because I wanted to see how this works out. Now, this has a clear paper backing on it that as we move along, I'll show you how that peels back and creates this lovely transparent film that you can print on, and we're going to use this as an overlay for the front cover of the journal. So you'll see just the text, and then behind the text, you'll see this image here. And this is what the package looks like. And what you want to do is make sure that when you print this, that you allow a solid 5 or 10 minutes for it to dry before you remove the lining. So what I've done is pre-cut this to 5.75 by 5.75. And the reason being because this is the sticky back, and I didn't want to have to get involved with punching holes and lining them up. So let's lay this down here. I'm going to bring it right about here and hope, oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So look at that. You've got the art behind it, and then you've got the text on top of it. It's like a transparent layer on top of the paper that you have behind it. How fun is that? Okay, so next, I think what I want to do is put some gesso on the back sides of each of these. So I'm going to set the cover aside before we affix it. And let's get a little bit of gesso. And And I'm just going to use this fun little guy to spread it on. Just a thin layer. No rhyme or reason, no right or wrong. Just kind of spread that on there. Because we'll probably end up painting or drawing, illustrating on top of it. Okay, I'm gonna wipe this off. I always keep wet wipes on my work table. That way I don't have to run to the sink and wipe up. But I am going to wipe that up so we don't get it on anything else. And I'm gonna kind of dry this for a little bit. Because this is chipboard, it's porous, so just be mindful of that. And as you're adding a wet medium to it, it's perfectly normal for it to bend a little, so don't worry about that. And that's actually why I laid the gesso on top of it. And now I've got this really soft neutral, it's called unbleached titanium, and I'm gonna spread some of that on there. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna use this again because it's fun to use. From the journal, and it's this cello wrapper. So I'm just gonna dab a little paint on there and use it as a paint palette. And I think I will use this is what I'm going to use, a little palette knife. So I'm just going to come in here. Oh, look at that. Ooh. Fun surprises when you just let yourself play. Love it, love it, love it. I'm going to get a wet brush. I've got it in this black paint here. Aha. Oh my gosh. I did not protect that. Look at that. Well, we'll use that. Okay, let me... I'm going to put something on top of that just to protect it. That's not the first time I've done that. Ooh, drippy goodness. Love it. So I've got this stencil, and gosh, I wish I could recall who it was from, but I love it. I've used it a lot, and I'm just gonna soften this up a little bit and give it a little more texture and layer. And I think what I want to use is oh, pardon me for reaching over there. Okay, we are going to use some molding paste. And again, I love using this with my little, oh my gosh, the palette knife. Good grief, I could not recall what that's called. Okay, so just a light paste. This is so fun to use. It's like spreading icing, and you can be random with it. You don't have to get every part of the stencil. And actually, when you are random, I think it gives it just a little more interest. What I'm gonna do, oh my gosh, look at that, look at that. Is that cool? Okay, I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm turning the stencil over so we get a little bit of a mirror look to it. And again, isn't that cool? Very interesting. Oh my gosh, I mean, that could be the cover, not the inside cover. And let me set that stencil aside. Okay, now we need to shoot these with the dryer and let them dry so that we can get to the cover and affix it. I printed the text onto the computer graphics Duralar film. And this comes in an adhesive and non-adhesive. And I think the next time I might try the non-adhesive, although this was fun and perfectly fine to work with. So I'm just going to use some Uhu Glue and stick this on here. And I think what I want to do a nice coverage of this, even in the center. And you want to line up your punch holes together. So that's where I'm going to start. And then just gently press to affix it to your cover. And voila, we've got our cover. Is that pretty? Look at that. We've got the text on the Duralar film and then collage paper behind it. And you could use anything. You could have affixed your text onto the Duralar film and then used this as your cover. So really use your imagination. We are only as good as the tools we have access to. So next, I think I want to play with some of these films and see what we can do with them. And this one, it's clear, like the Duralar film. Well, it is the Duralar film. And it already has some black splatters on it, so let's work with that. All right, I have put some colored paper behind the film just so I can see it a little better and see what I'm painting a little better versus on my white under paper. And because we've got the florals on the front cover, I think I'd like to keep with that theme and create a little bit of a botanical. So I've got a round brush. This is a watercolor brush, but I'm using the white, or excuse me, the black golden flow paint. So let's see here. Oh, I love the different amounts of paint as I'm drawing my brush across. And I'm just going very lightly with the tip. I'm not pressing down on the belly quite yet. We'll do that when we paint the flowers. So just use the very tip of your brush. I'm gonna come up here, connect it there. Okay, here comes the fun part. We're gonna put a little dot there for our center. And what you wanna do is lay your tip down, push down to the belly, pull out, and there you go, there's your first petal. I'm gonna load my brush again, tip, press down to the belly, and there you go. And I actually want this to be a little rounder. I'm gonna speed the film up a little, but just keep painting your petals and fill in these stems and see what you come up with. That is really pretty. And you know what? This is the beauty of mixed media, pardon me, mixed media art. I had inadvertently splashed this film when I was creating splatters on the inside cover, but we're making good use of it. And what we're going to do is splatter this some more. I've got a fan brush. I'm going to dip it in my paint. And then just take another brush or your hand and splatter it some more. There you go. I hope you're pleased with yours. Oh my gosh. So we're going to set this aside and let it dry. I've got a sheet of the black Duralar here, and I think this collage is going to be really striking against that. So this is just tissue paper. I'm going to spread some glue on it. Sticky. I want it to be somewhat straight. There we go. More tissue paper. Very pretty. Okay, I have a few more pieces. This is cheesecloth, and I love the texture that it brings in. You can get this at the grocery store on the cooking aisle. Look at that. Here I've taken a sheet of the Duralar film from the journal. I've printed some of my art on just a sheet of copy paper, and I'm illustrating it with a Sharpie pen onto the Duralar film. And then I think what I'm gonna do is, so I'm just coloring this in here. I think what I might do is create a watercolor background to put behind her. That might be kind of fun. And I taped it into place so that, and that's just a little tip for you. So if you try this technique, you'll know, tape it, and that way your film will not move. So here I am taking the tape off. There you go. And here she is. You take that away. There. Oh my gosh, how fun. You guys, I did this totally on the fly. So now we're going to take a piece of watercolor. What do I have here? Yeah. Now, I have not punched this one yet, but I will. So we've got our art girl. We're going to set her aside, set the pen aside, and we're just gonna lay down some watercolor. I have a big moppy round brush. I love these because they allow for very loose painting, and that's kind of my preference. So again, in keeping with the neutral, this is a titanium buff. So I'm just gonna lay down color, fun and free. I like it. And then we could maybe add some words. Once this is dry, we can add a couple words. That's why I illustrated her off center. So that, because I kind of had a feeling I'd want to add some words. So let's let this dry, and then we'll paste some words to it. So I went ahead and punched the holes. I've got this in position, and I think I'm going to put the little sentiment down here. And I want it on the paper and not the film. Let's make sure that's straight. How sweet is that? But you know what? She's not finished. Let's give her some rosy cheeks. Oh my gosh, I love this. Let's see if this is gonna work. I might need, oh no, if I press a little harder, there we go. How sweet is that? Look at that. Okay, now we're gonna put the journal together. Thank you for watching today. I hope you've discovered some fun ways to create with Grafix clear adhesive back to film and their mixed media art journal.